Have you ever wondered which are the lowest rated free-to-play games on Steam? The free-to-play bottom of the barrel, the creme de la well, maybe not, but I'm here to answer the questions that you probably didn't ask yourself. Starting with the highest rated game, Project F, an early access tactical first-person shooter that is pretty much a Rainbow Six Siege clone with Apex Legends UI and Valorant shop. And it doesn't work. So much for being the highest rated game in this video. So all that I can say is based on the reviews, YouTube gameplay videos, and the trailer for the game. Apparently the game's main twist was that it had procedurally generated maps, but that made for very uneven matches. And combined with the fact that guns are purchasable by money that you earn from killing opponents, the game was extremely snowbally. Besides that, it was riddled with performance issues and bad localization. The game is now completely abandoned, but listed as an early access game. On a side note, the only other game listed on Steam by the same developer is DMT Simulator. It is a game, alright? A game for sure. It is supposed to be a horror game and it's coming. It's coming soon. Someday. Eventually. And look, you can even family share it, so your whole family can look at you weirdly at the dinner table, knowing that you bought and shared the game with this name. Moving on, the 9th lowest rated game is Backrooms No Return Prologue. Apparently this game was supposed to try to hype up the upcoming Backrooms No Return game that has been coming soon for early access since last year, but it is also available as a demo under the game's page. The game is basically walking simulator. It takes 20 minutes to beat it, which, I get it, it's supposed to be a demo, but it demonstrates absolutely nothing. I didn't encounter a single monster and found at least 3 bugs within this short 20 minutes period, including one that made my flashlight unusable and I was forced to wander into the pitch black final room to try to find the exit by trial and error. Oh, and the voices were recorded with some extremely generic TTS program.
Someone is coming.
Low effort and boring, the game somehow felt long while taking only 20 minutes to beat. Up next, Genesis Online is a Minecraft clone with pay-to-win elements requiring players to buy diamonds with real-life money to build anything. Knowing this and seeing that this game's trailer is extremely boring, we're off to a great start. We only need to wait for the game to load. And it doesn't work. Next. Oh boy, the first AAA game to talk about. Call of Duty Warzone. Okay, so I've played Warzone when it came out during Modern Warfare, and I came back to it during the end of the Modern Warfare 2 Warzone 2 cycle, and I had a lot of fun with it, in Resurgence mode on Vondo and Ashika Island. But when Modern Warfare 3 rolled out, I completely dropped it. Oh shit. But when Modern Warfare 3 came out, I completely dropped it. While I don't like the direction that Warzone and Call of Duty overall have moved towards over the years, with 300 different battle passes active and cartoonish style mixed with realism, seemingly trying to mimic Fortnite's success, I have to be fair and say that this game is definitely not on the same tier as the other games that I've talked about so far. I understand that the negative reviews come from the place of frustration regarding the monetization, balance, matchmaking, and identity crisis that the series has now, but the other games that I've covered so far were straight up super low quality, with 2 of them not even booting up. My honest 2 cents about Warzone? The pure free-to-play experience sucks. All the players who already have meta loadouts are ready to blast you while sliding and bunny hopping, while you are playing traditional battle royale style, trying to make do with the weapons that you find on the ground. So you're kinda forced to play with bots until you level up and unlock better equipment, but those matches are boring and it takes a long time to get to the levels that you might wish to get to. Your best hope is to wait for a free-to-play weekend on the multiplayer to get your player and gun levels up. Besides that, the criticisms to the game loss of identity and the way that it tries to aggressively push you towards engaging in microtransactions are very valid. But again, to be fair, if I was a bored teenager trying to find a free-to-play game to play, Warzone would be far from one of the worst options. Up next, HAWKEN REBORN, an early access mech extraction shooter that is the new entry for the HAWKEN series. This one is just okay overall. It's not that bad, it's fun, it feels responsive, the mechs are cool, and while the combat is not impressive, it's not terrible either. It's a bring-off kind of game that allows you to roam around with a mech, completing missions and gathering resources. The complaints are mostly about it having microtransactions already available in an early access game, which is indeed pretty concerning, and the fact that it follows the extraction shooter trend instead of sticking to the first-person shooter genre of the original HAWKEN game that had its PC version shut down in 2017. It's not really that bad, but I get it, it doesn't make up for the loss of the multiplayer game, and the game being in early access since 2023, with the previous game already being cancelled just 5 years after its release, and microtransactions being available are definitely red flags. Now, Cannons, Lasers, Rockets is supposedly a spaceship MOBA. The name is definitely descriptive. Just like the most iconic game series. Don't you love guns, attachments and kill streaks? Guns, planes and tanks? Swords, magic and quests? Gorillas, platforming and bananas? Plumbers, mushrooms and princesses? Or guns, archaeology and breasts? Besides this incredible title, we have another sleep-inducing trailer. So this should be good. Well, I should have known with the top reviews being from 11 years ago. Next. Growtopia is a sandbox MMORPG in which you get to write your own world. It allows players to collaborate and build whatever they want. It has a community-based market. And free to play? Oh boy. Yes, it is riddled with bots. I would love to play it for the recording of this video, but it doesn't log in again. I even tried some of the fixes that people propose to no avail. So, the game sounds fun on paper, but what happened? Ubisoft happened. The game was initially developed by indie developers and released in 2012 for Android, and later it was released for Windows, iOS, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. In 2017, Ubisoft bought the game and the original developers left. All the console versions were discontinued and the game went to hell. With a lot of connectivity issues, rampart bot problems, and people being banned left and right for confusing reasons, Growtopia is now a shadow of its former self. An example of how a bigger company can completely ruin a small indie dev project. Now, it's time to talk about a game that a lot of you might have been waiting for. Overwatch 2. At a point, the game was the worst reviewed game on Steam. And why is that? Review bombing. It did have a lot of issues on Steam during its early release, and it tends to have some connectivity issues during new season releases. But that isn't what most people in the reviews are concerned about. It mostly boils down to either Overwatch 1 was great and we were robbed of the PvE mode, or something along the lines of Overwatch is dead, Marvel Rivals better. But those have been less common now that Marvel Rivals has gotten a bit staler. So the thing about Overwatch 2 is that I get it why people disdain it. Blizzard messed up by promising a PvE game mode, and the transition from 1 to 2 ended up feeling pointless. The game introduced a lot of expensive microtransactions under the guise of removing loot boxes, which weren't a problem at all in Overwatch, as you could get hundreds of them for free, and it felt overall less fun to play than the original release with its 5v5 focus. At the time that Overwatch 2 came out, I felt betrayed as well. I loved Overwatch, I played it since the beta, and seeing how we never got a PvE game mode made me quit the game after a month of its release. However, after 3 years away from the game, I decided to give it a try again during Season 17, and I quite liked it. So I must be a paid actor, right? Not really, especially with the release of Marvel Rivals, Overwatch 2 began to fix a lot of the early issues that it had, and to be honest, right now, the game is in the best state that it has been in the last 5 years. The gameplay has gone through adjustments that make it much more enjoyable, talents were introduced which are really fun, the newer heroes are a blast to play, kills are faster, the new game mode Stadium is really fun, and even some of the monetization issues were addressed, with heroes being now all free, loot boxes coming back as free rewards for playing the game, and they even addressed the FOMO issues that emerged with their collab events, with the skins that were once available only for a limited time periodically returning to the store. The issue is that people now hold a grudge against this game and will probably keep review bombing it continuously, regardless of its state. Now, the second lowest rated Steam game is another hero shooter, Mobile Suit Gundam Operation 2. Now, this one, differently from Overwatch, is definitely a rough one. First of all, this is a port, and a lousy one at that, of the PlayStation 4 version, which is evident by the fact that you can't even use your mouse to navigate the menus, and how the game has built-in mouse acceleration because it is obviously just emulating the right analog stick, so it controls very poorly. The graphics are honestly pretty bad. Instead of a regular lobby, it has this awkward bootcamp lobby where you can see other players, which is obviously an attempt by the devs to make the game look more alive. But when you try to queue up to a game, as a new player at least, you can't find a single match in any game mode. That is because the game is super strict and protective with its matchmaking, only matching players based on their skill level, which is pretty much your in-game level. If you're level 1 because, yeah, you just started playing the game right now, the odds of finding a match are really low. So, since I couldn't find a match at all, I was forced to play the game with a bot, and this was just not fun at all. Not just because it was a bot, but because of the controls and how slow the mechs are. I thought that maybe it was a matter of getting used to it, but I gave up after 10 minutes. Besides the gameplay, you're forced to go through a lengthy tutorial that mostly explains obvious things to you and shamelessly tries to get you into the microtransactions straight away. Which, by the way, this game is full of them. In order to get a new mech, you need to mostly gamble loot boxes. There are different quality versions of each mech, different qualities of each weapon, plus passes on top of passes, currencies on top of currencies. This game is just a mess and a shameful cash grab targeted at Gundam fans with little effort put into it. Now, our last entry, the lowest rated free-to-play game on Steam by far is War of the Three Kingdoms. Now, this one is truly special. It has only 10% positive reviews, which were mostly given by people trying to bump it up to make Overwatch 2 the lowest rated game. The Gundam game has 22% positive reviews, and if we were to count games that are not downloadable anymore, Nornion, an early access horny bait gacha game, had 18% positive reviews. So you know that this is truly the bottom of the barrel of what Steam has to offer. Just by booting up the game, we know that we're in for a legendary FICO experience. The game only works on windowed mode and takes a long time to load, to the point that I thought that it crashed the first time that I opened it. After waiting for a long time, you will notice that the game is entirely in Chinese, with no support to other languages. And let me tell you, this is all that I know of Chinese.
张牙舞爪，健身操。
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋。
So yeah, I can tell what's going on. However, I don't need to be fluent in Chinese to know that this button is the play button and that the game has microtransactions on top of microtransactions, just like your average mobile game. You get instantly bombarded with passes, currencies, daily logging bonuses, and so on. So while the game takes 300 years to boot up, with an extremely bare-bones UI in windowed mode, it aggressively wants your money, which is a great sign. When you click on play, you are forced into a tutorial, which shows you which cards to play, but guess what? I can't really tell why and what each one of them does. I understood that the cards are French suited and that you are supposed to combine them to perform different actions such as stealing cards from your opponent's hand, but that's it. Oh, by the way, you need to keep playing with the AI until level 50 to get to the real game. Yeah, I think that is enough. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe and leave a comment, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.